taking your health seriously, nothing, makes me laugh more than when you see someone sweating out at the gym Monday to Friday, drinking green juice, and then at the weekend smashing out some cocaine. It's just like, to me, it's just crazy.
I mean, I guess we talk about things like, like sleep and exercise, where it's where there's something where people are not doing enough to help themselves. But let's take that the other way around for a minute, and where we talk about people actually self-sabotaging, with booze and with drugs and stuff. I mean, tell me some of the effects. I mean, we all know that drink a lot, you're going to feel hungover, or take a load of coke and your nose is going to fall out or something. But I mean, from a medical perspective, what are some of the black and white bits of damage you're doing to yourself?
So talking about alcohol, don't get me wrong, I'm someone that also enjoys a social drink. I think there's an element that
a little bit more than social, some of your drinking.
Oh, yes. I'm sure you know about that. So basically, alcohol is a depressant. So it makes you feel sleepy, going back to sleep. People always think that you pass out after an episode of drinking, or, you have a glass of wine, you feel a bit tired, but actually it really affects your sleep quality. So the next few days, you're going to feel more run down. Your immune system will be a little bit suppressed. You might make bad decisions, be less quick with problem solving, not be switched on with memory.
Sorry to interrupt, but why do some people think that they need to have some booze to get to sleep better then?
Because it is a suppressant, so it can make you drowsy, so it might help
temporarily,
you,
but
temporarily.
Then,
So it might make you nod off easier if someone's worried about something or they're very stressed and they use a glass of wine as a coping mechanism to help them get to sleep. It does do that, but actually when you're asleep, even if you get the same number of hours, the sleep quality isn't the same. It messes with your kind of cycle between deep and light sleep, rapid eye movement and non-rapid eye movement sleep. And so it affects your sleep. That's a huge one. It can affect your ability to lose fat. If you're, we've talked a lot about people who are working out in the gym. The effect of alcohol on your metabolism is, first of all, alcohol contains calories. It contains lots of glucose. And so you're going to burn the alcohol first, which doesn't really make you feel full. In fact, if I have a few drinks, it makes me want a pizza. So I end up eating more calories. But also it switches off your fat burning mechanisms. So if you're someone that's trying to lose weight, that one glass of wine that you think is innocent and you're counting the 100 calories for, is actually much more complex than that. And then you get on to kind of the more psychological effects of alcohol and what it can do to your ability to think rationally. It changes the way that we interact socially. Everyone's had that feeling of reduced inhibition. But there's dangerous territory, I think, when it becomes this coping mechanism. People if I say the word alcoholic, it's not a medical term as such, but you think of someone who's drinking loads and getting themselves absolutely legless. It could be that you are dependent on alcohol and you need to have a glass of wine every night. I think that drinking regular alcohol comes with, a really grey area as to when it becomes problematic. Of course, you mentioned about doing drugs. There's no health benefit to doing drugs. Obviously, everyone has a choice to engage in whatever they want. But if you are taking your health seriously, nothing, makes me laugh more than when you see someone sweating out at the gym Monday to Friday, drinking green juice, and then at the weekend smashing out some cocaine. It's just like, to me, it's just crazy.
It's normally the yoga girls, the ones that are preaching about yoga on social media all week, are the first one to the toilets on a Friday night.
I'm not going to stereotype, but to me, that's just like this real clash of priorities. But there's no judgment. It's just that I think we've glamorized things a little bit, and none of these behaviors are particularly healthy. I think it's really interesting. I was training for the marathon at the beginning of last year, and I drank way less. So I would go to weddings and not drink because the next day I might have to get up and run 20 miles. And I found the response much easier to say, oh, I'm not drinking, I've got a marathon training run tomorrow. And people are like, oh yeah, all right. Whereas now, if I said, oh, you know what, I'm not drinking tonight, someone goes, oh, go on, have a glass. Oh, why not? Alcohol's the only kind of drug that people judge you for not engaging with, which I think is interesting.
Well, I've had this conversation a few times with people lately because, as I said a minute ago, I've not had a drink for let's say 3 weeks now. I say that in a way that might sound, I'm not trying to say it's a lot or not a lot. I just haven't had a drink for 3 weeks because I know that, you know, as I'm increasingly getting older, as much as I hate to admit it, that even 2 or 3 glasses of wine really materially affects me. I mean, you know, like 3 weeks ago, Friday night, I'd gone out, I'd shared a bottle of wine, bottle of red, so what's that, 3 glasses max? Okay, I wasn't hungover, I wasn't pissed, but I was definitely groggy the next day. I was slow, and that's just from like three glasses, or you know, 2 or 3 glasses. So I try and not have it unless I really want to have it, and I'm prepared to take the consequences and pay the price. But I've had, you know, conversations with a lot of people who say, yeah, I want to not drink, but it's very difficult for me because, you know, I'm in social settings, or it's because of my work environment. But I always feel like I'm in that same work environment as you. You know, I do oodles and oodles of socializing, you know, both daytime and nighttime for work, where it would be very, very easy for me to have drinks. But, you know, I ultimately find that if I say I don't want to have a drink, I mean, look, maybe it's because I'm strong enough to not give a shit what anybody says to me, and maybe because of that, they therefore don't push it on me. But I always say, if someone's saying to you, have a drink, it's not a you problem, it's a them problem.
Yeah.
It's because, you know, they've clearly got some issue where, you know, where they can't not drink.
Yeah.
And you know, I just think ultimately, like, I always, if I'm pissed, it's because I've drunk too much red wine. I've never gone out to get pissed. And that's why I always say, you know, if someone's drinking a vodka Coke, I say, well, I'll just drink a Coke. Like, as in, you can't taste the vodka in the Coke because it's a vodka Coke. Therefore, I may as well just have the Coke, because I've got you know, no interest in being pissed and no interest in being hungover. If I'm going to be pissed and hungover, it's going to be a byproduct of drinking a great bottle of wine. And I've kind of forgotten where I was going with that, but I think, you know, just, you know, whether or not people overthink it, whether or not it's because you know, they're just trying to find an excuse, you know, not to drink because you've got deficiencies or issues elsewhere where they need that alcohol confidence. But it's funny when we talk about booze, you know, when you look at the downsides of it, you know, in terms of the hangover, the damage it does to your body, the fact that, you know, you're probably angry, you probably get pissed out of a bar fight, that someone drink drives and kills someone. When you look at all the negative effects of alcohol, as much as I would never want my red wine to be banned, I think if we just discovered alcohol today, it'd be a prohibited substance. I mean, it's only that it's been around for so many years and there's so many people profiting off it that I think it gets to stay.
Yeah, I think the social norm is strange. Like I said, it's like the only drug that you can take where people don't bat an eyelid and judge you for not engaging with it. I think there's, you know, an interesting question about, I feel like younger generations are turning more towards drugs rather than alcohol. I don't know the reasons for that. But, you know, alcohol's a really interesting one. I think if someone is like trying to take their health really seriously, you can't just see alcohol as like another part of your week. It needs to be a conscious thing that you engage in. Like you said, you want to open a lovely bottle of wine, or you want to actively make a decision to have a social drink, rather than just not even thinking about it. I always think that with anything, you need to like have intention. If I'm eating a dessert, I'm eating that dessert because I really want that dessert, not just because it's like this thing you do as part of a 3-course meal.
So I've normally had too many starters and main courses and can't ever make it to a dessert.